Hello, my name is Manuel Rivera, and I'm a graduate student from the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Today I'm going to be helping you in a Calculus 1 problem. It's from the Spring 2016 CU Boulder. So we're going to be going over part C today of this question, which states the following. Evaluate the defined integral, the integral between 0 to 3, absolute value of x squared minus 4x plus 3, close the absolute value dx. So here let's look at this integral. So even though it has an absolute value, let's look at what's inside of it. So we have x squared minus 4x plus 3. So that can be factored down in two parts. So it can be factored into x minus 3 and x minus 1. And that will be the same as x squared minus 4x plus 3. So here we know that x this function is going to cross the x-axis at 3 and at 1. So we can separate this function into two parts. We can have the integral between 0 to 1 of x squared minus 4x plus 3 dx plus the integral between 1 and 3 of x squared minus 4x plus 3 dx, of course. And this is possible because of the absolute value definition. So let's integrate those two parts. So here the integral or the antiderivative of x squared will be x cubed divided by 3. The antiderivative of negative 4x will be, so the negative stays, 4x squared divided by 2. So if you can see on those two terms what is happening, the exponent increases by 1 and that new exponent is divided by the new exponent. So that's why I wrote x squared now and divided by 2. The same thing happened with the x cubed divided by 3. Plus, since 3 is a constant, then it just has 3x. So here we're going to look at between 0 to 1. So that's going to be exactly the same, but our boundaries is going to change between 1 and 3 for the next integral. So let me write that down now. So like I mentioned, we're going to have x cubed divided by 3 minus 4 x squared now divided by 2 plus 3x. And our boundaries between 1 and 3. So let's start simplifying a bit. The 4 over 2, that's just 2. So I can rewrite that as 2 on both terms. So I'm going to start inputting values and see what is our solution. So for example, let's start for the first part. So let's look at 1 inputting 1, right? So I'm going to write a bracket so we can separate them, find our solution, then we can add those two values, what they're equal to. So 1 cubed divided by 3 minus, like I mentioned, 4 over 2 is just 2. So I'm going to write 2, 1 square. Write parentheses, notifying that we're multiplying there. Plus 3 and times 1. Minus, so it's, and now for x we're going to use 0. So I'm going to write this in parentheses. So now I finish inputting as x equals 0. So let's simplify our solution, that, at least so far. So as we know, if we look at the right side of it, 0 cubed is still 0. So 0 divided by 3, that's going to be 0. 0 squared times 2, that's 0. And 3 times 0, it's 0. So all that information is going to be just equal to 0. So we just have to look at the first part. So 1 cubed, it's 1 divided by 3, it's 1/3. 1 squared, it's 1 times 2, it's minus 2. And 3 times 1 is equal to 3. So let me write that down. So that's going to be equal to 1/3 minus 2 plus 1 plus 3, sorry. So now let's look at the other term that we found. So by substituting 3 now into that response, we are going to obtain the following. So we're going to have 3 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 and times 3 square plus 3 times 3, because that's our x value, minus, so let me put this in brackets just to notify that they're different from the previous line. Now we're going to substitute a 1, which is what we got in the beginning. So since it's the same, I'm just going to write it what we got as our solution, which is 1/3 minus 2 plus 1 plus 3, sorry. So we want to simplify that. So I'm going to start writing the whole solution now. So we're going to have equals from, let me write it from equals from over here, right? Okay, so let's move on. So we're going to have, that's going to be equal to 1/3 negative 2 plus 3 is just 1, so I'm going to write plus 1 minus, sorry, plus, so it's minus, right? I did forget to mention something. If we look over here, this is going to be a minus for the fact that that part of the function is below the x-axis. So all this should be a minus as well. I apologize for that. So like I mentioned, we're gonna have here a minus, so it's gonna be 3 cubed is 27 divided by 3 is 9. Then 3 square is 9 times 2 will be 18. So minus 18 there. Plus 3 times 3, which is 9. Minus 1/3 plus 1, right? Because negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. So if we calculate that, so I'm going to leave you guys to double check that math. It's going to be equal to 8/3 as our solution for this integral. So hopefully it was pretty understandable answering this problem. Hopefully it was of great help. Thank you.